What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss 3 things Predator Hunting Grounds must not do. So, we made a video a few months ago. I think at this point I made a video talking about 3 things Predator Hunting Grounds needs to do. I'll link that in the description below as well, so you guys can check that out if you haven't already. Now, this game comes out 2 months tomorrow, so we're getting very, very close to its release date. And not a lot of news. There's literally next to nothing coming out in this game, so I felt, I wanted to talk about this game again. I wanted to make another video, and so I thought, well, let's do a reverse of what we did last time. So really quickly, and again, you can go watch the video on the 3 things it must do, but I'm going to go over the 3 things it must do really quickly, just literally what I said, and then we'll go over the 3 things it must not do. So 3 of the things I said it needs to do is it needs to make the killer, the Predator himself, and survivors, they need to be like on equal grounds. The second thing is it needs to have additional content, and the third thing is it needs to have functional or functioning in general servers. That's been a main point of my videos talking about Predator Hunting Grounds. I think it needs to actually work as a game. So here's 3 things now that Predator Hunting Grounds must not do. Shy away from marketing the game. And now this is kind of multifaceted. There's a lot of ways you can think of this. This game, because this was the first thing I wrote down, because when I look at this game or when I type it in, it kind of makes me upset that there's really, actually, literally next to nothing on this game. There's literally nothing out on this game, and it makes me upset that they're not really, they've only pushed this game a handful of times, and it's specifically, when they have the trailer, when they announce the release date, and they have the release date trailer, that kind of stuff. They've only really pushed this game 2 or 3 times over the last year, and again, 2 months tomorrow, the game releases on PS4 and on PC, and I just hope that over the next couple months, they pick it up. Now, games do. A lot of games will do that. These are not even close to comparable, but even like a Rockstar game like GTA, Red Dead, those kind of games, normally they actually wait 2-3 months before the game comes out, and then they just flood the internet with information on the game. So there are games out there that the development teams and the publishers waited out till right before, and then have a bunch of content come out. Now, I talked about in the last video why I think it needs a beta, and it's, again, it kind of goes hand in hand, right? It is, in a way, a beta is in a way a marketing technique and a tactic they could use. I think by not doing it, they are losing out, because you don't really get anything, any excitement or hype about the game right before the game comes out. Where if you have the beta, then you can have the beta, and then that leads right into the game. So now you've extended how long or how much people are going to talk about the game. So I think it's just a big missed opportunity. And also, same thing, another way you can look at what I said is also after the game. There should be events, there should be double XP weekends, there should be all things like that, getting the community involved. Now, I'm going to be doing stuff. I'm hoping to do stuff with this game. I really do want to support this game a lot, so I'm hoping to do an event where I play with as many of the people online as possibly that shows up, right? So I'll have that. We'll talk about that in coming videos, but just so you guys know, if you guys are interested in getting the game and you like my content, I do plan on hopefully playing with you guys, or playing with as many people as possible. So things like that, basically, and also them getting in contact with people that make videos. I'm not the biggest creator out there, but there's others, like I've talked about, Omwrecker. I think he's a perfect pick for them to go out and seek and say, hey, you crushed it with Friday the 13th. Do you want to help us out promoting Predator Hunting Grounds? I think that would be I think they honestly need to do that in order for this game to achieve long-term success. Now, the second thing is a slight twist on one of the things I said that it has to do, right? So for this, what it must not do is go more than a few months without DLC. Again, it is a slight twist, but it's so important, and it's something I definitely want to nail home, because this is a game that, in order to achieve long-term success, needs to have stuff coming to it continuously. It cannot just stop. And yeah, I'm not saying literally I expect something every week or I expect something every month, but if we go 3-4 months, and now we're into July or August, and we've got nothing on this game, that is a major problem. And I'm not talking even skins. I want new maps. It needs to be, honestly, bigger things. While I want to support this game, and while I want to love this game, this is all without us even playing. The game could turn out to be a disaster. We don't know yet. But where I'm standing right now, I want to play this game. I want to enjoy it. At the same time, let me tell you something. When it gets to September, I'm probably hopping off a lot of, not just Predator. I'm probably hopping off every game because we have Avengers, we have Cyberpunk, and then October there's probably a huge wave of games that are cross-generation games, and then early November is next gen, and I'm getting the PS5. I'm probably getting tons of games that are coming up, so I'm gonna be busy. And with the channel and me having to do multiple games or play multiple games and stuff, people, and not just me, people in general are going to move away from this game. And that's going to happen without, I don't even think they can honestly stop that. Once it gets to September, and then especially November with next gen, there's going to be a lot of people leaving a lot of games. It's just the way it is. However, development studios for these games that hopefully want to achieve long-term success, they're going to do their best to make it so that there is something still there for people to play, and again, continue to add stuff so people go back to it. And because I will. If they keep adding really cool things to this game, yeah, I'll be playing the PS5, I'll be playing those games, but if it's backwards compatible, I'll be playing Predator Hunting Grounds. And if they keep adding to it, I will keep playing it. That's just how it works, right? For some games, and they have to do it right. I think we talked about that in the last video, but that is so important. They cannot go more than a few months without DLC. Again, it maybe won't affect them all that much when it first releases. So it releases April 24th. If they don't do anything by June, fine. But then July and August, that's their time because there's really nothing else coming. And I get it. It's just one game in the stratosphere of games. But in July and August, there's next to nothing. And for us people that are buying Predator Hunting Grounds, I assume we're probably going to be playing it because what else are we going to be playing? And again, we all have backlogs and stuff like that. It's going to be a played game. But then once it hits September, it's game on again for all of these other games. And Predator Hunting Grounds it's just one of thousands of games. So it needs to do its part to stand out, to continue to give us content for it. Otherwise, people are just going to leave it. And the third thing it must not do is make it not fun to play as the survivors or, the people that are basically going around doing objectives, and there's also AI enemies. I like the dynamic that Predator is trying to do. I like that it seems like it's going to be fun, and we talked about that in the other video as well. Seems like it's going to be fun to play as both. Now, in that video, I talked about they need to balance it. They need to make these two sides, basically, of this game feel strong enough where you feel comfortable playing as both. And I was toying around with having that as my third thing, but it really is all part of the same package, okay? Having them be balanced, having them be fun, in this case be fun, because it is a big deal. Now, what I'll say is a lot of games, actually, more games than I first thought, they actually do a rather good job of just this in general. Games like Dead by Daylight, games like Friday the 13th, there is something to playing as Jason. I remember when I first played Friday the 13th, I played 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds as Counselor. You couldn't get into a Jason map, or you couldn't play as Jason, all that kind of stuff over and over and over. And then when you finally get to play as Jason, there is this sense of oh yeah, I'm in charge. And I think a problem with these games is there's always going to be that situation where when you do get to play as that person, it's okay, there is something special. Now, Dead by Daylight, you pick, right? You either go into the lobby as a survivor or you go into the lobby as the other word, again, that I don't want to really say on YouTube. You can only go in one or the other, and then the whole game, that's what you're going to be. Now, for Friday the 13th, it lets you prioritize. I wonder if that's what, I assume, honestly, that's what they would do with this game. Or maybe they would do just a Dead by Daylight thing where, literally, when you're going into a lobby to pick your, just get into a group of people, you're either going in knowing you're going to be the Predator or you're going to just be a survivor. So I wonder if that's how they're going to do it, or do what they did for Friday the 13th where it's well, yeah, you're prioritized as Jason, but it's not guaranteed you're going to play as him. Again, I think in a situation like that, you do get in a situation with Friday the 13th where it's yeah, survivors are cool. It leads to some funny moments. It's good communication, right? You talk to everybody, and it's a way of building a bond with other people that you really can't get anywhere else. So there are definitely pros to it, but then when you get Jason, there just is something to that where you're oh yeah. And I'm not even sure if that's necessarily a bad thing. The thing they need to definitely stay away from, though, again, is this, making one just clearly not fun. And that also, again, goes with balance and goes to what I said in the other video where it's if they're not balanced, if they don't feel equal, and one is just, because that leads to fun, right? If one of them just sucks and you're not good as them because they're kind of just unbalanced and they just don't work, they don't really stand stand a chance, well, then that leads to them just flat out not being fun to play as. And then people are only going to want to play as the Predator, and you can't have everybody playing as Predator because that's not how the game functions. So for a game like this, for games like this in general, it should be the top of their priority list. And I do assume it is, that they need to be very even, that you feel confident or you feel like you're having fun no matter what you're playing. And again, these games, that's definitely like one of the top things they have to make sure they're doing, because if people don't do that, if people feel like only one side of it is fun, they're not going to play. Maybe even in a game like Evolve when it first came out, really playing as those hunters were not fun like at all. Like, give or take, I'm sure some people did like the game. I definitely did not. I built myself up for a game like that, but that's a different story and different game altogether. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What are some things that you think Predator Hunting Grounds, I know people gave their opinions on what it needs to do. What do you think it cannot do in order to be amazing when it releases? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And you guys have been doing such an amazing job supporting these videos, so I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Again, I do want to do something Predator Hunting Grounds related when the game releases. I'm going to have loads of videos covering the game, that's for sure. Like, we'll have tips and tricks, we'll have all sorts of things talking about the game, but I would like to do like a community event. So if you guys are interested, if that's something you think you'd want to participate in or you want to see from me, also let me know. Again, we got 2 months, but it's good to kind of start talking about it. So let me know all that stuff in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.